All right, let's get into fucking news. Biden is making history as the first president to walk the picket line in the auto worker strike. This is 100% real. This is a historic moment for labor union history in America. This is a historic moment for the American presidency. This is a historic moment in general. Very cool. I like it a lot. I like this a lot. We love it, folks. We fucking love it. Let's go, Brandon.
And he's heading to Michigan to join striking auto workers on the picket lines this afternoon. An unprecedented show of worker solidarity by a sitting president. Senior national correspondent Terry Marin is outside a Ford plant in Michigan. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. For decades, when workers went on strike, presidents, Republican and Democrat, tried to stay above it all, not taking sides, urging negotiations and a fair deal. But today, at this Ford plant where workers have been on strike for 11 days now for better pay and benefits, Joe Biden will break that tradition.
Annoying timing, but beats Obama, right? No. Joe Brandon is like definitely beating Obama on this front for sure. Like the Brandon administration is definitely way more openly pro-labor than the Obama administration was, 100%. After all, the NLRB under the Brandon administration, as we mentioned before, instituted a lighter form of card check, which was legitimately a campaign promise from Barack Hussein Obama. Okay? That was a campaign promise from Barack Obama that he actually pushed for in Congress too, and then never actually followed through on once he became the president. And the NLRB obviously doing this is not the same as legislation in Congress, which is significantly trickier and way harder to pursue and way harder to push for. But ultimately, that's a big win. That's a big W, which Obama could have brought up as well at the time. Brandon's NLRB is going after child labor pretty aggressively, partially because there's a lot more child labor happening, I guess, in America lately as conditions worsen, which is to be expected. They are going after back pay pretty aggressively. They literally arrested a small business recently. They arrested the owners of a small business, a spa called Haven, for violating a court order. After they won a lawsuit specifically where they were found in violation of the rules and had to pay back pay to their employees, which they refused to do so, and then they arrested them, which is pretty fucking sick. Like, arresting a small business owner is fire, okay? That's tight. Now, obviously, they should do that with larger businesses as well, but it's good to set up these kinds of precedents. I'm definitely a fan of what's going on here. You dropped this crown, King Uwu. Thank you. One thing I think a lot of chat doesn't understand is that Brandon's motives for this move don't matter at all. It doesn't matter if this is cynical. It still materially helps the union. Yes. Now, there's a couple things here that I find particularly interesting. Do you think this will have any actual positive effect on labor movements? Yes, dude. Yes. The bully pulpit is very important, especially for a lot of petulant libs, okay? Having the motherfucking president of the United States of America walk a goddamn picket line? Are you joking? The entire bourgeois state is designed to never do that, okay? Now, obviously, we can analyze the material conditions and look at that and say, wow, like, labor has such little power that, like, the president can aesthetically go and walk the picket line. And that part is actually true. But, I mean, everything in the American government is specifically designed to eviscerate labor power, to crush labor power as aggressively as possible, and to effectively dismantle all the federal agencies, especially since, like, Reagan era neoliberalism. They've been very successful at doing such things. And there is a genuine disdain for the government doing anything. I'm from the federal government, and I'm here to help is the scariest thing that you could ever hear, right? The worst thing that you can ever hear. So, big deal here, I think, for Brandon. If you ask me why he didn't do the same for railroad workers, I genuinely don't know, especially because the follow-through did legitimately offer the railroad workers quietly some of the things that they were interested in striking for. And I don't know why they did that quietly. Because it was odd. It was a very odd thing to do with because it's like a big PR boost. And I guess they thought that it wouldn't be a big PR boost. But the reality on the labor side, or the reality on the railroad worker side is that obviously Brandon forced it forced the railroad workers to go back to work at a time when there were very serious demands being made, very understandable demands being made by the rail worker unions, right? He forced them to go back to work because these are like the most essential employees you can have. Obviously, these are freight trains. They're the ones who are carrying, chlorine and very important chemicals. They're the ones who make commerce work everywhere, but they also are the ones who are responsible for, your fresh water supply being drinkable, right? So that's part of the reason why they have a unique contract where the federal government's like, no, you have to keep working at gunpoint, right? But Biden not taking the side of the railroad workers in that conversation and then quietly actually going to them, taking their demands directly to the bosses in the railroad companies and getting at least some of their demands met is very interesting. I don't know why they did it quietly. I don't know why they did it after. It was an afterthought. Didn't get a lot of media coverage. That's why a lot of people are unfamiliar with that. Like they didn't even, most of you, even though I have covered it before, probably didn't even realize that is something that happened. And make no mistake, I am telling you, it's not I don't think his cabinet or I don't think his advisors in his ear are actually pro-labor by any means. I think that the people that they hear from are on the Capitol side, are on the boss side. I also said this as well. What did I use as an example? Well, the bosses didn't know that the UAW strike was a reality, that it was very likely that the UAW would strike. Neither did Joe Brandon. 2 days before the UAW strike started, if you remember, he said, I'm not worried about that. It's probably not going to happen, which is an unimaginable disconnect from the rank and file and the working, from the actual wage laborers at these fucking facilities and their bosses. To me, that shows that the people inside of Brandon's ear, inside of his orbit, are not on the labor side at all. Because there were representatives, for example, from Michigan that were like, what the fuck are you saying? I mean, this is all like, gotta move Kai real quick. Sorry. Sorry. Fuck. There was a Politico article written about this. If you remember, I forget what her name is. The Michigan representative was straight up like called the Biden administration and said, "Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you guys insane? These guys are definitely going to strike." Okay. So yeah, he said a lot more than he thought by saying that he didn't know how bad it is out there. Exactly. If we hear, Deb Dingle, thank you. Debbie Dingle was the person who literally apparently called up some advisors and was like, are you guys fucking insane? Now, of course, where is it?
I do not.
Debbie Dingle also has come out and said, I don't believe Biden should intervene.
The president should intervene or be at the negotiating table. I've said that from the beginning.
I just asked Sean Fain what it would take for the union to endorse President Biden, who says he's the most pro-union president ever. And he said that has to be earned.
I really have to tell you that I think that we got to keep these two issues totally separate. I'm really worried about what's happening at the table.
Come on, Debbie. It's funny to me because like she is fucking smarter than the goddamn bosses. Like she's smart enough to recognize at the time. But remember, this is the guy in Brandon's ear that is actually, well, not in Brandon's ear, but this is the person that at least has like a better understanding of what the fuck was happening on the ground. And then even then, it's not like, this is not a Sherrod Brown situation. Sherrod Brown, sorry. I know I love saying Sherrod Brown. Where like, this is like an actual 100% I don't know. I don't think she's like a super pro labor person. You know what I mean? But she has to be to a certain degree because these are her constituents. Why do you call him Brandon? You know, because that's what his name is. His name is Brandon.
And that it is going to determine the future of the auto industry in Michigan. I want to keep presidential politics out of this and do what's right from a policy perspective. Then we.
Anyway, she thinks she knows anything. I mean, she's right. Like here's her statement on the UAW negotiations. Right here, Dingell statement on the UAW strike, big three automakers. I've said many times these are the most important negotiations I've witnessed in my lifetime. The industry is at a crossroads and its future is at stake. We must manufacture these vehicles here in America to stay at the forefront of innovation and technology to compete in the global marketplace. And the workers are critical to that. There are a lot of important issues at play. The auto workers were the ones who gave when this industry was in trouble over a decade ago, which is true, which Brandon has also repeated that line now, by the way, which is very good stuff being said because it's true. Okay. And now they want to see their wages keep up with inflation and cost of living adjustments. It's not fair for someone to be a temporary worker for 8 to 10 years. Also true. She basically repeated UAW talking points, which is very good. And you have to be very good. And you have to at least understand what the fucking rank and file's demands are if you are going to be a congresswoman in Michigan. Okay? Because this is your constituency. That's what this proves to me, at least. She did a speech a couple days ago.
Rise today to stand in solidarity with our UAW workers. I have seen many negotiations in my lifetime, but these.
Anyway, look, Debbie Dingell, we briefly talked about. That's not the more important part of this, because the more important part of this is a man, okay? Because I'm a sexist. We're moving away from Debbie Dingell right now and back to the man, President Joseph Robinette Brandon, okay? Let's go.
This morning, the president will join striking auto workers on the picket line.
Well, I always support the UAW.
Joe Biden will be making history. There is no record of any president walking a picket line until today. But in the United Auto Workers' expanding strike against the big three car companies, Biden says he stands with workers.
When you take a look at the significant increase in salaries for the executives and growth of the industry, they should benefit.
It's so funny having this fucking carcass, okay? It's so funny having this motherfucking carcass repeat, like, talking points that at this point he's just, like, completely oblivious to. He's just like, yeah, man, it's crazy, Jack. I feel like they can make him say whatever the fuck. He could be like, revolution now. We're going to let 1,000 flowers bloom, Jack. We're doing a cultural revolution. It's going to make Mao look like a pussycat. Are you a landlord? You're going to jail. And you're going to be grateful you're going to jail because no more rent seeking, no more parasitic behavior from those who shut off access in the form of enclosures from the average American, from the proletariat, Jack. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. And all the workers need to rise up and demand better wages so they can avoid those ads by subscribing for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Cap Calloway, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Why? Allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Cut the malarkey. I wonder why people think Biden is too old. It couldn't possibly be because he's doing something historically great and Hassan can't help but shit talk it. Meanwhile, Turdo talks total nonsense about windmills and is called a brilliant strategist for it. Yes. I don't know why we are at such an impasse here, Fango Lives. Maybe because you hate the windmill thing. Maybe because you wrote about it extensively. But yes, even in this moment, it's not like Brandon looks like there's any life behind his eyes and knows what the fuck he's talking about. I'm sorry. He's old as fuck. And more importantly, he doesn't have the Riz no more. Okay? Also, I'm still supporting him. So what the fuck is your problem? Like, what do you want me to do? Suck his cock? Huh? Is that what you want? Like, I literally am. I just spent the first hour of this broadcast, as soon as we got done with my parasocialist update or whatever, glazing my man, okay, like a donut It's nutty. What more do you want from me? I'm straight up throating it right now. I talked about how fucking great the NLRB is. I talked about the FTC. Like, I talked about the FCC briefly. We're going to get to that later. Like, what are we doing? I even defended the behind closed door sessions that they have where they lobbied the railroad companies. I'm doing tricks on it. Meanwhile, you shouldn't do tricks on the top of the hour ad break. Here it is now. I'm going to run it right now. It doesn't even make sense, but it doesn't have to. Jack, cut the malarkey. Yeah, this is real. This is a reality, dude. It's happening. Oh, man. All right.
But the White House insists that the details of any deal should be left up to the parties. A week and a half into this strike, those talks are inching closer as the UAW fights for a 40% wage increase and better benefits. Democrats are increasingly competing for union votes against Republicans like Donald Trump, who will address a crowd of union members on...
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Fuck the media. The media can suck and fuck me, okay? The media can suck my dick from the back. Fuck you, okay? Everyone in mainstream media is a charlatan defender of the capital owner class. They are fucking pieces of shit, garbage, garbanzo beans, okay? They should be doing actual fucking journalism. Suck my cock. Anyone that fucking says Donald Trump is actually going to talk to the striking workers is a fucking liar. He is not going to talk to the fucking striking workers. He's going to talk to scabbing workers at a fucking non-union shop in a fucking suburb. Like, it's bullshit. And guess what? I said this fucking a week ago. It's not like I am some prophetic person. I'm a fucking dumbass. And even I knew from that point, as soon as Donald Trump said, oh, I'm going to go talk to the fucking picket. Oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to go to the picket. I was like, oh, he's not doing that. There's no way he's doing that. He would get booed. He would get owned. I told you he was going to go to a controlled environment, and that's precisely what he's fucking doing. And the media should stop doing this false equivocation. Suck my dick, dude. Fuck you guys. Okay? God damn it. This shit sucks so bad. How are you going to flub on this? You hate Donald Trump. That's like the one thing that causes mainstream media to like genuinely fucking behave like real journalists, right? And even then, he still fucked it up. Donald Trump is not going to the fucking picket. He's not. He's not. Why are they making this false equivalence? Why are they acting like he is?
Wednesday. Out on the picket lines, workers are holding strong.
We're looking forward to getting something fair negotiated with Ford.
But for some, like Mac Hall and his sons, Stephen and Chris, 2 generations of auto workers on strike together, this fight is about something bigger than politics as usual.
Personally, Biden and Trump can stay.
Yeah, he's literally not speaking to the UAW, but rather going to a non-union, non-Big Three plant. He has not contacted the union, Lamau. This is genuinely funny at this point. Actually, interesting question to ask UAW members if you're a reporter in Michigan. Have they been contacted to attend? If so, by who? Rumors are the Right to Work Foundation is using its list and former UAW members to find workers for it. Would be good to know if that's true. A question you can ask the Trump campaign. Will strikes be allowed to attend tomorrow? Will strikers be allowed to attend tomorrow if they weren't already in touch with the organizers? Last one is, well, you can imagine more than a few strikers would like to give Trump a piece of their mind if he insists on his sideshow. Next, one might consider looking into whether execs at Drake Enterprises are Trump donors, GOP donors, or contributors to the Right to Work Foundation. Journalism is really not that difficult. You just ask questions and try to find answers. Lol. It is so insane. First of all, Alex is a fucking journalist, and she's basically, given that she doesn't have the same level of access that a lot of mainstream media journalists have, is basically throwing this up for free on the timeline for any goddamn journalist to actually follow through on. If you are a journalist, and I know many of you are in here right now, a lot of motherfuckers love watching me, whether you are in the DNC, whether you work with the Brandon administration, whether you work with the UAW specifically, or whether you work for the AFL-CIO, like H. Bizzle 13, who no longer attends here because he's a massive RP head, okay? There's a lot of you in there. There's a lot of you in here. Follow through on some of the shit, you know? Do some good work. Do some good fucking work, okay? That's how you know how Lib Bizzle is so far gone that this motherfucker literally works for the AFL-CIO. He's one of their UAW like reps, okay? And he's not even in here as a historic strike is happening. That's how brain broken he is, that he is just like so caught up in the fucking RP meta that he's never coming back. I thought he was banned. No, I would never ban. I would never ban someone simply over disagreements. I would ban them if they're being annoying. And he was never the type of dude who would say idiotic shit, even if we had disagreements. Why are you capping? Like, you know who I ban. You're in here every fucking day. I ban motherfuckers who like derail. Anyway, so my best friend's dad is a union rep. He's such a good dude. He just wants to fight for people's rights. Hell yeah. So where were we? Let's get back into it. All right, let's
Stay at home. I think we have enough millionaires and billionaires trying to determine what we get. You don't understand.
Mac Hall and his sons also told us they were grateful for support from any quarter, but their point is this isn't political. For the workers, it's not about politics. It's about getting a fairer balance between workers and management at these hugely profitable companies and not just in the auto industry. Michael?
Yeah, you're right about that, Terry. It's not political. It's all about their livelihood. Thank you so much for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking.
All right, let's get into it. Brandon went to the motherfucking UAW picket line. Oh, my Lord. Holy moly. Oh, my stars and garters. Never thought I'd see the goddamn day. Look at that. And there it is. There he is, my president, okay? The real president. President Sean Fain, the shadow president, standing right in front of the decrepit flesh, being held up by the greatest necromancers, Joseph Robinette Brandon.
Senator since 1973, but I tell you what, first time I've ever done it as president.
Okay, this fucking sucks. Please tell me there's better audio on this. Do we have better audio on this or what? Seeing an American president on the picket line using "we" in reference to a striking labor union is hard to convey what a startling break that is from the previous 45 presidents. Yeah, I don't think people understand that. The notion of anti-labor presidents is largely a myth. American leaders were almost wholly pro-labor until the 1980s. Okay, dude. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Did you see how Alex refused to call Biden or Trump president on media appearances, but only say President Sean Fain? Yeah, respect. The audio gets a bit better. The beginning of Joe's stuff is hella quiet, though. The audio doesn't really get better. Okay, it might get better. Famously, pro-labor politicians were around during the Civil War and Industrial Revolution. Yeah, no, they were always. Joe Biden, minutes after slipping on steps of Air Force One, I marched a lot of UAW picket lines when I was a senator since 1973, but I tell you what, first time I've ever done it in person. Wait, what? Yes, Joe Biden clearly says in the video it's the first time he marched on a picket line as president. It's definitely a lie to say Biden said in person. Yeah, I mean, a lot of politicians. Let me clear something up here. A lot of presidents will show support to labor unions when they're running. Okay? They might even sometimes attend a picket line when they're running for president. A lot of politicians, when they're in Congress, might attend a picket line even. Okay? These are all things that have happened. But a sitting president, okay? A sitting president actually, getting up and fucking attending a picket line is historic. That's huge. That's a big fucking deal, okay? That shows a tremendous amount of support for labor unions. That says, listen, Jack, the government's got your back. Even on an aesthetic front, that is a big fucking deal, okay? That's it. Even if he's just fluffing his campaign run, yes. Oh my God. I don't know how, I don't know what to say. Hard to find a quote that better summarizes Obamanomics is not the same as Bidenomics. For him to be going to a picket line is outrageous. Stephen Ratner, who headed former President Barack Obama's auto industry task force, said in an interview. There's no precedent for it. The tradition of the president is to stay neutral in these things. I get the politics. The progressives all said, we don't want a mediator. We want an advocate. And he bowed to the progressives. And now he's going out there to put his thumb on the scale. And it is wrong. So miss me with this fucking bullshit, okay? This is why I said, yes, Brandon so far, especially with a lot of the actions taken by his federal agencies, has done a better job than Barack motherfucking Obama. I know it sounds crazy to say. I know you want me to say, well, Barack Obama was very charismatic, so it felt like he was more progressive. But the actions from this decrepit carcass's administration and his federal agencies have been significantly better so far, especially when you analyze the amount of political power that the Brandon administration currently holds in comparison to the political power that the Obama admin had and the popular support that they had. Or any Obama dick rider back in the day, it's insane to say. I have been incredibly critical from the jump of Barack Obama's foreign policy. I have been so insanely critical of Barack Obama. What did you fucking see a goddamn t-shirt of me wearing that goddamn campaign t-shirt, the unofficial campaign t-shirt, and go, oh yeah, he unironically loves Obama or something? Like what? Anyway, is it because Barack Obama is standing behind me, watching me every day? Anyway, to be fair though, people do think I'm a Trump dick rider because I wore that Trump 2020 hat as well. So can you take Obama at 1v1 in basketball? Dude, listen, I would bust his fucking ankles, okay? I would break his goddamn ankles. I would destroy him. I would destroy Barack Obama in ball harder than he fucked up that hospital in Kunduz, okay? I would destroy him. Not even a question, okay? I'd own him. He'd be done. All right. But yeah, it's important to note that the differences in the Brandon admin versus the Brandon admin, which looks a lot like this, versus the Obama administration. All right. Let's keep going.
One thing is real simple, and to be very brief. The fact of the matter is that you guys, the UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008 and before. Made a lot of sacrifices. Gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well too. Stick with it.
I love that this is a once in a lifetime fucking historic moment where the goddamn president is at a picket line and the fucking media doesn't have microphones, dude. Like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Every single one of you should be fired from your fucking jobs. Jesus Christ. He fucked traffic up when I was coming back from the zoo. Fuck this motherfucker. Yeah, fuck him. What is going on here? This is where the people on the ground now watchers law. No, it don't matter. This is a huge deal. This should. I genuinely don't understand how the fuck he's not there. How the fuck they're not there with like a bunch. Dude, Donald Trump farts on his way to fucking South Carolina, and there's like 1,000 cameras with like the best microphones you've ever seen. Okay, get the fuck out of here. Come on, dude. Really? And he's not even the fucking president. Like, what are we doing? I'm gonna tell you something right now. If Donald Trump actually attended the picket line, you bet your fucking ass they would be there, okay? It's like the 9/11 Bush moment when he had the bullhorn as better optics.
Because you deserve the significant raise you need and other benefits.
Let's get it!
No, him having the bullhorn is fine. It's just that they don't have like the adequate audio equipment there. Like, what's happening here?
Get back who we lost, okay? Yeah! We say them, it's about time them to step up for us. Thank you. Now, there's a guy I know you don't know here, but I brought him along anyway. Sean Payne, your president. Yeah! All right, good afternoon, UAW family. Thank you. I want to thank local.
I don't get it. This looks like a very diverse cast of individuals, like black women, a lot of black people in general. I thought unions were all just like white people. What happened? What's that about? I thought unions were mostly predominantly occupied with like grad school kids who are trust fund babies who just are lazy and want to do socialism for the sheer aesthetics. Because my favorite neoliberal commentators, they always portray that picture that like labor unions and the supporters of labor unions are out of touch, elitist, rich libtards like myself, Hasanabi Piker. But it does seem like the American working class is significantly more diverse than the way I've heard about it from both mainstream media and also other neoliberal commentators. What is that about, you think? If only someone had access to the information, such as, like, for example, the black labor force is a higher union participation than the white labor force. If only someone knew that and repeated it all the fucking time. I don't know. For example, just one of many examples, that the American working class is incredibly diverse, for example. You know, if only.
You must have loved.
It's because you're racist? Yeah, no, you're right. I'm the racist one. And not the people who desperately try to portray the American working class, the American labor force as like a singular, white hog living in fucking Alabama or something. And that this is precisely the reason why we can't focus on like, any of these like civil liberties or whatever, you know what I mean? We can't focus on anything else. Like we can't focus on any like racial issues or anything like that, because like the American working class is simply just white working class. That's how you jump on the fucking Trump is a real populist train, for the record. You are kind of racist. No, man, I'm the biggest, okay? Not even kind of, the most. You said they were all white? What? Okay, I think I got a good amount of schizo posters in the chat today. Figure it out, guys. When you get together, when you're in your fucking Discord group, like, figure out, am I an anti-white racist or am I, an anti-black racist? Like, which one is it? Because I get hit from both. I hear it all the time. I'm like, I'm an anti-white racist first and foremost, and then I'm also anti-black racist too. Like, which one is it? I think he missed the sarcasm. Oh, maybe. Street saying you're the all races, yeah, across the board.
174, home of Walter Reuther. Thank this local leadership and director.
It does remind me when commentators said Bernie's plan for the working class didn't help black people, which was all wild. Yeah, exactly. No, the media also absolutely portrays this fucking dumbass narrative as well. The media plays a role in this kind of narrative. It's like aesthetics. It's all aesthetics. That's why Trump can get away with being a populist who loves the working class. It's like, no, he doesn't. Shut the fuck up. He's a billionaire real estate developer who very notoriously never fucking paid his workers. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, nuts. It's so stupid. Do your goddamn jobs, man. Do your fucking jobs and do a good job.
Laura Dickerson.
Yes!
Because you're all the reason we're here. This is all about the membership. You know, this site, Willow Run, it holds a historic place in the history.
Yo, where's Bernie? He should be holding hands with Dark Brandon. Bitch, you kidding me? Bernie was at the fucking picket the first day. Are you out of your mind? Bernie got his own fucking custom jacket first day in, okay?
History of our union and our country. You know, this was part of the arsenal of democracy during World War II. It's where they built the B-24 Liberator bomber. You know, that bomber, they built one of those per hour when they were at their peak. It's what helped us win the war. So today, 80 years later, we find ourselves here again with the arsenal of democracy. It's a different kind of arsenal.
Brandon's like, I remember that. I was literally there. Like, damn, the B-24 Liberator, Jack, I literally seen it. I was there, Jack.
Democracy, and it's a different kind of war we're fighting. Today, the enemy isn't some foreign country miles away. It's right here in our own area. It's corporate greed.
Woo! God damn, dude. That's good. That's a good line. Bars.
And the weapon we produce to fight that enemy is the liberators, the true liberators. It's the working class people, all of you working your butts off on those lines to deliver great product for our companies.
That's right.
That's how we're going to defeat these people. That's how we're going to defeat corporate greed, is by standing together. You know, this is a historic moment, the first time in our country's history that a sitting USA president has came out and stood on the picket line. Our president chose to stand up with workers in our fight for economic and social justice.
Thank you.
It's a historic day and a historic moment in time. You know, just as today, you know, it's about the auto workers who are part of the fabric of the working class of this country. We're the people that make the world run. It's not the billionaire class, not the elite few.
Advisors are coping about. Yeah, I saw this already. We covered this already. Okay, Edinger Mantum. He's just fucking ripping the Jeff Klein not Jeff Klein, sorry, Jeff Stein article. Jesus Christ. He's become such a Twitter head, dude. Okay? Or maybe Jeff Stein ripped it from him. I don't know. I thought this was his article. Stealing jokes from Twitter. He just tweets way too much. Here he is where Trump was, and here's where Trump was instead of the picket line. No, we're gonna cover the gun shop in a second. Trump is gonna be at Trump tomorrow is going to be at Trump tomorrow is going to be in a we'll get to that in a second. He's not going to the picket line. He's going to a non-union shop, and he's gonna fucking do the fake like populism bullshit. Awesome. It's awesome. And the most idiotic part of this process is like mainstream media not covering it adequately. Are you going to cover the gun? Yeah, I will cover the gun. Yes. I get more mad about the media than I do about Donald Trump, though. Let's be real. Specifically because 8 years is enough time to find a cover. Oh yeah, this was a massive gaffe too. Obama got ripped for this. If American workers are being denied their right to organize when I'm in the White House, I will put on a comfortable pair of shoes and I will walk on that picket line with you as president of the United States. Sorry, I can't find my comfortable pair of shoes. I'm getting my shit sucked sideways by Larry Sinclair in Gurney. And pussy too. Let me be queer. When the Duluth Dyson comes knocking down your door to suck your shit sideways, you say, yes, please. Okay. That's a bit gay, man. Oh, yes. Hey, that's a bit gay, man. Why? I'm having so much fun with this stupid shit. Oh, man. That's such a great fucking branding quote. Hey, that's a bit gay, man. Okay. We don't need a soundboard. I'll do all the sounds myself, okay?
It's the working class of the billions of people who have been left behind. That's what this battle's about, changing that. You know what's going to move this? It's not some executive that owns our future. It's us. It's working class people from all walks of life. You know, it's what we decide to do together that's going to change it. It's going to shape the future of this earth and for future generations. And that's the economic reality that corporate executives don't want us to recognize. Yeah. I see these CEOs try to justify a system where they take all the profit and the workers are left to fight for the scrap.
What are they doing? ABC Newsline is just on Biden. Like, what the fuck are we doing right now? Like, the president is speaking, okay? Hello? President Sean Fain is speaking. What are we doing here? We just got the camera on Joseph Robinette Brandon? Like, what the fuck?
And live paycheck to paycheck. That's got to end. Right. Yeah. They say they deserve all the profit because they say they're different. You know what? They are different. They have different degrees. They have different responsibilities. They have different titles.
different positions. You know what? I agree, though. They're different. Let's talk about some of that. These CEOs sit in their offices. They sit in meetings and they make decisions. But we make the product. They think they own the world, but we make it run. The CEOs think the future belongs to them. Today belongs to the auto workers and the working class. And the difference between them and us is just as our theme song, Solidarity Forever, says. Without our brain and muscle, not a single wheel would turn. That's what's different about working class people. Whether we're building cars or trucks or running parts distribution centers, whether we're writing movies or performing TV shows, whether we're making coffee at Starbucks, whether it's nursing people back to health, whether it's educating students from preschool to college, we do the heavy lifting. We do the real work. Not the CEO, not the executive. And though we don't know it, that's what power is. We have the power. The world is of our making. The economy is of our making. This industry is of our making. And as we've shown, when we withhold our labor, we can unmake it. And as we're going to continue to show, when we win this fight with the big three, we're going to remake it. In this union, the members are the highest authority. In this country, the people are the highest authority. And so today, I just want to take a moment to stand with all of you, with our president, and say thank you to the president. Thank you, Mr. President, for coming.
Biden's doing the beta stance right now. Yeah, he's not stance the fuck up. Let me tell you, not looking too good for his campaign prospects. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting there, arms crossed. At least he's standing up right. You know what I mean? He's standing up straight. So at least you got that. That's good. Marks for that one. But he does have the beta pose. He passes the green line test, though.
Thank you for coming to stand up with us in our generation's defining moments. And we know
a real proletarian leader would fucking clap alongside the laborers. You know what I mean? You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to show like I am exactly like you, one of you. I'm on your side. That's what you're supposed to do.
the president will do right by the working class, and when we do right by the working class, you can leave the rest to us because we're going to take care of this business. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for being a part of this fight. And let's get back to winning solidarity for all of our members and economic and social justice for all of our members.
Heard me say it many times. Wall Street didn't build the country. The middle class built the country.
Damn, he's just spitting. He's like, I got more in me. Sean, give me that megaphone, Jack. I got one more in me, Jack.
The middle class. That's a fact. So let's keep going. You deserve what you've earned, and you've earned a hell of a lot more than you're getting paid now. Thank you very much.
Am I crazy? I don't see a lot of. I see a lot of momentum on this on Twitter, but I don't necessarily see a lot of momentum on this on. Let me see. Let's see what if CNN is actually covering it live. You know what I mean? Because this is like a big fucking deal.
Longer stays within the shelter system as a direct result, and we still have a continual flow of new faces coming in on a daily basis.
So we've seen the pictures from your city, and they're heartbreaking because you see these groups of people essentially just camped out in the street. I imagine it taxes you to see this happening.
It truly does. And as a result of the large numbers, many of our shelters have been focusing on those families with children. And so the ones that you see out on the streets tend to be the adult single male population. We simply don't have space. So the announcement by the mayor with regard to additional capacity has been very welcome. And the city has also come to us and provided many hotel rooms as well. As of this past weekend, I believe they had over 1,000 in hotel rooms. So they're trying to decompress as we speak.
Okay. Sure. I mean, okay, that doesn't look too great that they are, doing El Paso is being invaded coverage like they're fucking Fox News. Let's see what Fox News is talking about. However, I'm sure they are at least like criticizing Biden for going on the. Oh, never mind. They're
actually
won
last November, so they have to be careful. They're so worried about their left flank, but there are a lot of people coming on the right and from the center, and they care about crime.
Okay, black on black crime on Fox News. Immigration invasion on CNN. Let's see what MSNBC is covering live. I mean, this is, to be fair, this is just like one moment. You know what I mean? It's one moment. It's just a snapshot. Maybe we got unlucky. It doesn't mean that it's like, super serious. Okay, MSNBC just has jacuzzi bath remodeling ads playing right now. They're on an ad break. So they were covering the migrant crisis like 30 minutes ago. No. That's like the major point of contention. That is going to be the major point of contention. Uncle Sammy Cedar made a good point about the media coverage.
What's amazing is if you look at the reporting about Trump and Biden, post that thing about from the Times. Trump to woo striking union members in Detroit, skipping the second GOP debate. Now this.
Oh, I already covered this. This is really, really. I mean, this is like. This part is the worst aspect of it, 100%. Like, this part is the worst aspect of their coverage, is like when they do this false equivalency as though like Donald Trump is legitimately going to the fucking picket line or something when he's not doing that. Yeah, it's very, very, very frustrating. Suella Braverman, the UK's Home Secretary, has been spouting great replacement rhetoric today, so America isn't alone in the shit at present. Love our political landscape right now, not at all unhinged. Yeah, it's almost like as contradictions seem to worsen, we just like get more and more reactionary, as that's a very good way to distract the masses. El Paso's doing the best we can to house the people coming. It's nothing new for us. People need help, and El Paso has always been here with open arms. Yeah, I mean, and then the other aspect of that is also like, obviously, the governor, Greg Abbott, shipping migrants directly to New York, and then there's the other aspect of this as well. You're the lone soldier giving Brandon his credit. I mean, I was there when Joe Brandon. A lot of people shit on me and say, oh, Hassan, you are against Brandon and you want Trump to win because you love Donald Trump or whatever. Okay? But I was there when Brandon pulled out of Afghanistan. And what did I tell you? I told you he did the right thing and he was going to get punished for it. And guess what? He did get punished for it. He got fucking punished severely for it. His approval rating never recovered after that. Okay? That was his high point, and it also became the lowest point. And the unfortunate situation was that, they hammered him for it when he did the right thing. He did everything right, and they hammered him. And I'm here. I'm riding for him. You know what I mean? When liberal media ate his ass alive, I was there. Okay, I was there defending him. I was there fighting his battles because God has given his most loyal soldiers his toughest fucking battles. Okay, Brandon has given me, his most loyal soldier, the toughest battles.
We also know from our reporting that a union source telling us that they do not consider former President Trump's visit tomorrow in Detroit at Drake Enterprises a show of solidarity with the union, because that is not a union shop. However, we know that President Biden was invited directly by the union. We also know from...
Good. I'm glad that they're acknowledging it. Thank God. Thank fucking God. Oh my God, dude. It's like, what the fuck is going on? I feel like I'm losing my goddamn mind over here, watching these guys just talk about this situation as though it's like a real. What motivated Biden to visit? Trump, yes, but also pressure from the Democrats and the UAW. Let's see what their coverage looks like. Take off that racist hoodie. Wait, what? God, I have so many fucking weirdos in here. Come in here, guys. This is it. At this point, the only people interested in fucking politics and not like on the live streaming space are just like people who are always going to be weird. And I think we just have to live with that reality forever, chat. Those of you who are in here who want me to do like normal news coverage, you know, we're just going to have to deal with all the fucking weirdos.
UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008 and before. Made a lot of sacrifices, gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well too. You've heard me say it many times. Wall Street didn't build the country, the middle class built the country. Unions built the middle class. That's a fact. So let's keep going. You deserve what you've earned, and you've earned a hell of a lot more than you're getting paid now. Thank you very
Oh man, it's pretty fire. President Biden joined a group of striking auto workers on a picket line on Michigan on Tuesday, an extraordinary gesture to support of labor union by a sitting American president. Mr. Biden joined General Motors workers picketing at a distribution center just west of Detroit in Belleville, Michigan, then addressed the crowd with the union president, Sean Fain. Unions built the middle class. Mr. Biden shouted through a bullhorn, "It's a fact." The president said the workers have made a lot of sacrifices when their companies were in trouble. Now they're doing incredibly well, he said. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well, too. The president, dressed in a baseball cap, zip-up sweater. I don't give a shit about his stylistic choices. His visit was brief, roughly 15 minutes, but he joined scores of workers outside of a parts storage facility, clad in red shirts and carrying union signs. The president emphasized that he had been a labor supporter for decades and had picketed before, just not as president. Since the strike began on September 15, Mr. Biden has been calling on companies and workers to reach an agreement that would spare a ripple effect through the economy that could raise vehicle prices and disrupt supply chains. The White House has been hesitant to say whether Mr. Biden supported the workers' demands, but when asked whether they deserve the 40% raise they're seeking, he responded, yes, along with a crowd of picketers. Listen, at that point, it don't matter what you fucking say about the union demands, okay? It doesn't matter if you fucking literally personally don't believe that the union deserves all that. When you stand in solidarity with them, okay? When you fucking go to their picket line, yes, you're endorsing their demands. That's how this works, okay? Wild that the New York Times is trying to fucking still be like, oh, I don't really get it. I don't know if we don't know what his real opinion on the matter is. Who gives a fuck? He just stood there. That's why it's a significant move. That's why it's a historic move. Former President Donald J. Trump campaigns asserted that the only reason Mr. Biden went to Michigan was because Mr. Trump announced a trip for Wednesday to speak to current and former union members. Former union members. Interesting. Mr. Biden faced more pressure from his within his own party and the UAW than he did from Mr. Trump. Mr. Biden was met upon landing by Mr. Fain, the president of the United Automobile Workers Union. In May, the UAW, which normally supports Democratic presidential candidates, withheld its endorsement of Mr. Biden, citing concerns over the electric vehicle transition. Mr. Trump has no plans to meet with Mr. Fain, who has publicly criticized the former president's plans to travel to Michigan. So, where is Donald Bazinga Trump going?
Yeah, you know.
Okay. Let's actually, you know what? Let's hear from Fox 2 News on the mixed reactions to Biden visiting the fucking picket line.
People have a lot of different opinions on this. Typically what happens is, as we all know, labor unions are usually allied politically with the Democratic Party. We talked to workers over at Ford Michigan Assembly, and they told us they actually want to hear from both the Republican and Democrat frontrunners for this upcoming presidential election.
Actually, I really don't like neither one, so.
Upton Wheeler is one of many Ford workers with a take on President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump meeting with auto workers this week as the UAW's historic strike against the Detroit 3 continues.
You don't like either one, why? I just don't like the taxes they use, you know what I'm saying, on the world, you know what I'm saying, and we're all in a bad situation as it is. This is why we out here striking for more money.
We found rank and file reaction is indeed mixed, with Biden set to join UAW President Shawn Fain on the picket line Tuesday.
Hopefully he's on our side. I would expect that. He says that he's labor friendly, so I hope that he does come with some good intentions to benefit us.
Meantime, Trump will meet with about 500 workers Wednesday at Drake Enterprises, an auto parts supplier in Clinton Township.
I like it as well. I don't believe the UAW should be limited to Democrat or Republican. I believe we should hear both sides, and whoever is for us, I believe that's who we should support.
Well, hopefully there's no fighting, and him and Biden can stay neutral, but I feel like that's a good thing too. Our old president's coming, he's supporting us, Biden's supporting us, so more love, more the merrier.
The stakes get higher every day. The union says they are closer with Ford on striking a deal than they are with Stellantis and GM. Unifor, which represents Canadian workers, ratified a 3-year agreement with Ford and have now turned their sights onto GM to strike a deal there.
President Biden is coming here to, I think, help fulfill his promise to be the most pro-union president that we've ever had. I think it would look a little strange if he didn't show up and support them and try to make that claim.
Dave Dulio is a political science professor at Oakland University. He also weighed in on the impact of Trump's visit.
In 2016, when he came to Michigan and campaigned on issues.
How long it took for them to find the two both sides workers, it's got to be, it's probably not that hard. Because like I said, if you look at union participation, or not union participation, but rather like if you look at rank and file voter breakdown, obviously like unions and their leadership oftentimes are going to endorse the Democratic side because of, historic relationships that they've had, or because of the relationship that they have with the Democratic Party in general. But the rank and file voter breakdown still favors the Democratic Party, of course. However, it is not like a 70-30 or 90-10. It's more so, it's usually around 50-50 in some instances. So it wouldn't be that hard to find like Trump supporting rank and file members, realistically. And I think that the media plays a role in that continuing by making this false equivalence. Because even if you're a rank and file, even if you're at the pickets, like maybe you're not fully aware that Trump is not going to a fucking non-union plant. And how do you become more aware of that? Well, one, through internal communications with the UAW, which I'm sure they're hammering pretty aggressively, but also by the media covering it and being like, Trump is not going to a union plant at a time when there is like union activity to make it seem like he's in support of striking workers. That 100% is ridiculous. Like everyone in the media should be covering the accurate information. The Democratic Party is just playing lip service only as a part of that. It don't matter, man. At the end of the day, if you're doing lip service, you might as well be doing lip service right. The Republicans are not even fucking doing lip service. They're just lying. I wonder what it's like to work at Drake Enterprises, the non-union plant here in Trump that he's going to, which has nothing to do with the big three, by the way. Okay? One of the best places to destroy the confidence and morale and enthusiasm of a human being. Turnover, or is it churn over? Sickening. A tantrum-driven adolescent mentality top boss. Sensitivity training is a must for the organization's leadership. Survival of the fittest is a must. Check your feelings at the door, but keep your head on a swivel. Wonderful place to work if you're on work release or in a halfway house. I would say that the media is getting duped if I didn't have a more cynical perspective, which I think closely reflects the reality that the reason why there is like a desperate equivocation happening here is because the media does not give a shit about labor unions or accurately covering stories that pertain to labor unions, and it's more so a product of them, trying to side as best as they possibly can with capital owners, specifically the big three, okay, and doing it in a way where they know, like, Donald Trump is not a fucking real union defender, okay? Joe Brandon is not a real union defender either. However, it doesn't matter because Joe Brandon is now doing real labor union support. Going to the picket, going to meet picketing workers is a historic move for a sitting president, okay? You can say lip service all you fucking want. In certain instances, that kind of lip service is incredibly fucking important. If it was that insignificant, why the fuck has it never happened? Like, a big part of what the president does is utilize the bully pulpit, okay? Are you crazy? Why are people so desperate to make this seem like it's insignificant when it actually is significant? I don't give a fuck. Fuck Joseph Robinette Brandon, but this is massive. It's a massive move. It's so massive that it hasn't happened before. It's so massive that what happens usually in these circles is not going to the picket line as the sitting president, but instead, when you're running for president on the Republican side, act like you give a shit about the fucking workers and then go to a non-union facility. Anyway, imagine being a striker and having the president of the nation on your side. It boosts morale and keeps you motivated in trying times. It's like him visiting a war zone to boost morale. Yeah. You should be passing legislation, not getting a photo up. Okay, first of all, like, if we're talking about electoralism, okay, if I'm gonna put my fucking electoral Andy hat on, okay, like, yes, as much as I love the president passing legislation as a concept or even pushing legislation from the bully pulpit, let's be fucking real. He has very little power on that front. This is still a bourgeois government, okay? This is still a capitalist liberal democracy. Now, having said that, there's a reason why even him going to the fucking picket is a symbolic and yet historic gesture, because that's how far removed we are from making material gains for the working class in this country, okay? That's number one. Number two, as I've talked time and time again, there are avenues where the federal government could do things that improve the worker safety and improve people's improve the working class's lives. The NLRB is a great example of a federal agency that is doing that right now under the Brandon administration. Okay? They can't pass the PRO Act. It's never going to fucking pass, unfortunately, because we don't have enough enthusiasm for that kind of thing. Okay? However, the NLRB could use former gains being made on the side of labor from like the 50s, okay, to its advantage and start reinforcing prior gains that were made, which is exactly what they're doing. And instead of a PRO Act, they're basically creating a structure for card check to exist in a lighter version of that, with a lighter version of that, okay? And that's precisely what's happening here as well. But as far as the railway strikes goes, yes, I don't know why the Brandon administration quietly pushed successfully the railway companies to actually carve out sick days, like paid sick days for the railroad workers, which the unions were in support of, by the way. The unions afterwards, after Brandon got them those gains, were happy with those results. Now, obviously, if this was a contract that was ratified by the rank and file, who knows what their demands would look like. Maybe they would have wanted 14 days of paid sick leave, which they deserve, instead of the 4 days that they got. Okay? Yeah, Centex was a huge win that the NLRB did and got swept over. Exactly. A lot of this stuff does not get any coverage in mainstream media, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, really. I'm always a firm believer that the left works better in the darkness, in the shadows. You know what I mean? Like, AOC's first run was a historic W only because the Democratic Party had not realized that you could get primaried in like deep blue areas by someone who is significantly more progressive than the candidate you have. I'm a firm believer that utilizing federal agencies quietly and not like making a big fuss about it is probably the smart way to go, is probably the best way to institute change, enact change. You know what I mean? Because the alternative is people fucking immediately cut propaganda against it. There are parts where you're supposed to get loud, and I think Brandon is getting loud here. You know, this is a moment where he is getting loud, is a part where he's supposed to get loud.
The middle class built the country.
You know? And then there are parts where you're supposed to not be super loud. So I guess that's like not the worst thing. Yeah, why set a deadline that people can hold you accountable for when you can just make their lives better in surprise form? It's not even that. Remember how I've talked about, I think it was Alan Fisher, friend of the show, who also tweeted this a while back, and I talked about this on this stream as well. It's like, I think it's much better to not hold like these like fucking idiotic like local board meetings or whatever, like public meetings with filled to the brim with like real estate developers when you're like putting forward a new housing project. You know what I mean? Because all you're gonna get is the worst reactionary dickheads to come in and like make a big fuss and try to, you know, gum up the whatever project you're making. I think it's actually bad. People, as we found out in the United States of America especially, people don't know what's good for them, and they will routinely fight against things that are genuinely good for them. I would much rather quietly implement change and just be like, hey, look, shut the fuck up. There you go. Have you noticed how there's less homeless people around? Oh, I wonder if that's because we built fucking multiple housing units specifically for a housing first policy that you would have never allowed to happen. You didn't even know it was fucking built in your goddamn backyard. Shut the fuck up. We did it, and now there's less homeless people, and we're stabilizing housing prices in this marketplace. It's easier to ask for permission, forgiveness than for permission. Yes, I agree with you, but isn't this what the right thinks also about abortion, gay marriage? Yes. Yes. NMP Lol in the chat is pretty funny because this is a very polemist thing that I'm saying. I'm instituting Marxist-Leninist polemist thought here. But yeah, that is what the right thinks also, and they do that. That's the difference. The right has never cared about democracy. Hello. But there is a difference between good things and bad things. That's my point. There is a difference. Just like if you're going to do things, do it quietly, okay? Like the FDIC doing this to local banks. No warning on the weekend or at midnight. Exactly. And then people don't even know. They're none the wiser. Okay? That's what the government is there to do, right? It's there to protect you when you need it. When you need it most. You don't even fucking think about it. It's not loud like the top of the hour ad break, for example. That's loud, and immediately people throw tomatoes at me when I fucking serve you the top of the hour ad break, even though there are things you can do. Like subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, or by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. There are things you can do to avoid the top of the hour ad break. Okay? Here's the 3-minute ad break now, though. Let's keep going.
Mainly around trade and manufacturing jobs and talk to voters, many of them whom worked for Ford, Stellantis, GM, suppliers, and talked about backing out of, redoing NAFTA, backing out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which he did, renegotiated NAFTA, and I think he's going to try to talk to those same voters in that same way.
Meantime, Stellantis released a statement responding to the visits, the presidential visits. Stellantis says on the first day of the strike, President Biden said UAW workers deserve a contract that sustains them and the middle class. We agree and presented a record offer. The statement goes on to essentially say,
it's because of people like you I join my union and I just work in admin. Nice.
Hey, we're paraphrasing now, that both sides, labor and management and the automakers, they need a...
Labor Knows made a map of all the UAW striking plant locations. There are a few locations in LA. Will we see you on the picket line? I have reached out to the UAW, to my friends over at the UAW that I have collaborated with in the past, and I want to make a similar video like I did with the WGA, but this time with the UAW. We'll see what happens. Obviously, this is the worst time to probably reach out to anybody at the UAW because the fucking president was at the picket line. So, I mean, we'll see. Maybe my my former relationship with some of those members will help me get some access here. You know what I mean?
Fair deal that honors both sides on that. And you will have more of that statement on our website, fox2detroit.com. We're live in downtown Detroit. Dave Kinchin, Fox 2 News.
And we keep hearing from these workers, though, really, they want to keep politics out of it. They just want to be able to reach a deal like Ford. And so what was Ford able to do that GM and Stellantis still haven't been able to offer to be able to reach an agreement? Do you know of any specifics? Have workers said anything to you?
Well, we know that they've been following it and been getting encouraged messaging from the union as it relates to Ford working to end tiers in some areas. That was one of the things that President Sean Fain said the other night. Also, Ford seems to be doing more for the union says, on job security and also working as it relates
The hood watches Joe Brandon now.
to the ability, the right to strike plant closures or slated plant closures. That was also a big thing, too. So they're able to strike, it seems, some agreements in other areas, but they're still far apart when it comes to GM and Stellantis on some major key points.
Yeah, and certainly we don't know every detail of what's going on behind closed doors, but everybody, before the impact is felt even more, I know everybody really wants agreements to be made. Thank you so much, though, for that live report and update, Dave.
I mean, everything. It's years and
Oh, this is fire. Thank you for putting this in the playlist, the Macias. I watched this. I saw this as well. Donald Trump, back in 2008, shitting on the UAW, okay? If you want to know, I mean, obviously members of this community already fucking know that Donald Trump is no working class hero, nor is he a friend to the American labor force, obviously. But it does hit that point much harder when you hear him on Fox News in 2008 shit all over the UAW and just labor unions in general, actually.
years of deep-seated. And I see it in my own company. Well, my company is a lot newer. Over the years, we have Christmas bonus time, right? And we've done well. Now, I pay somebody a bonus 20 years ago. Then you give them a little more, a little more, a little more. Now it's 20 years later. All of a sudden I'm saying, I'm paying them too much. I'm paying them too much. I mean, I'm paying some guys much more than I should be paying. You know why? Time. Same thing with the unions. They get a little increase, they get another. What
do your guys
40,
get? Do you
50
give them
years
a condo, or what do you give them?
No, I just give them bonuses. But, I always like to give
I know
a
it's
little
not
bit
a hickory
more.
cheese log.
No,
I know that.
I'm not even talking about top-level people. I'm talking about you go a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. All of a sudden, 20 years is up, and now you're saying, man, that's a lot of money. I'm sitting behind my desk signing these checks.
They expect it, right?
They expect
December
it.
rolls around and I think Don's going to be good to me.
Neil, it's the same thing with the unions.
That's right.
They get their little 5%. They get another 2%. They get another 3%, 4%. Then all of a sudden they're making more money than the people that own the company. I think that the unions are really, really hurting very badly what's going on with the auto.
And Hollywood leaders of
Yeah. Before you know it, they got more money than more money than me. Wow, it's almost like that's an inherent contradiction to capital, Comrade Trump. Yeah, because he's a capitalist. So he sees it. And then what does he do? Well, he knows his side in the fucking bargain, and he pushes for his side, God, I love this image, dude. It's so good. Hold on, I'm posting a tweet. The union should have invited him to speak and then played that video right before he got on stage. Yeah, it's good that they didn't do that, but Trump would have never done it anyway. I need that as my phone wallpaper. He's literally saying the lyrics to Master of the House from Les Miserables. Charge him for the lice, extra for the mice, 2% for looking in the mirror twice, hand it over, here's a little slice, there's a little cut, 3% for sleeping with a window shut. When it comes to fixing prices, there's a lot of trick I knows. Well, we do know he is a fan of musical theater. Yes, we have the Alabama Supreme Court rejection as well. Interesting news are happening in the United States of America. But let's get to it. Hollywood writers are optimistic over tentative agreement for the new 3-year contract. Union buster Elon Musk thinks billionaires deserve record profits and huge raises. No way. Union buster Elon Musk thinks billionaires like himself deserve record profits and huge raises, but that workers getting a raise would bankrupt companies and cause inflation. Wow. Yeah, Elon Musk knows how to run a company into the fucking ground, so it's good for him. I love that. He says all workers deserve to share in the value they help create, Jack. You know, he's doing it. This doesn't make Biden more than 2% better than he was. He's still shit. I mean, okay. Who cares? I don't give a fuck how shitty Biden. I don't give a fuck how shitty Biden is. This is good. This is good stuff. The sun in the sky is red, Jack. Beijing Biden. I did it better. It's such fucking leftist behavior to look at something good and just ignore it and shit on the person anyway. Yes, dude. Yes. Yes. Because people do not understand how change happens in the fucking margins, and they have like broad sweeping reforms that they want to implement immediately. It's the same mentality of like, it's the same mentality behind just like Non-Gloria Farrow correctly pointed out. It's weird how chatters will say this means nothing and Biden still sucks while they retweet their 5th post calling for a general strike. Like, they don't get it. They don't understand how fucking long and convoluted of a process this is to even, like, implement a strike in a facility like the UAW facilities that are currently striking. They don't get it. That's why I've yelled about this kind of stuff a lot, and all of my yelling has led to people fucking despising me because they think I'm the messenger that tells them that they're wrong and silly and almost childish for having this kind of perspective. This is so fucking good, okay? This is so good. It's better than what anyone else could have expected.
The Writers Guild of America are expected to approve a new contract today after months on strike. The deal will still need to be ratified by the union's members, but the strike could officially end before that happens. Elise Preston has more from Los Angeles. Elise, good morning.
Nate, good morning to you. There's a lot of optimism among writers here. Picketing has stopped, and the WGA is considering officially lifting the strike to allow writers to get back to work within the next 24 hours. Today, the WGA board and council will vote to move the deal forward. Then over the next few weeks, writers will decide whether to officially accept the new terms.
What do we want? A fair contract! When do we want it? Now!
After nearly 5 months on the picket line, writers like Alex Zaragoza are greeting the news of a new contract agreement with more than just relief.
I immediately just had that like sobbing and just feeling so happy.
Union members are still only getting snippets of their new contract terms, which if approved would be locked in for 3 years.
Whatever it is, I trust that it's going to be a good deal because we've all been there fighting.
It appears that the WGA got a lot and got more than expected.
Entertainment attorney Jonathan Handel.
On basic wage increases, the writers were asking for 6%, the studios were offering 5%. They've presumably compromised somewhere in that range. On AI, the Guild got protections, we're learning.
Even though studios own the rights to scripts purchased, writers don't want their work to be used to train AI programs to replicate their work, which could potentially put them out of a job in the near future.
Shut it down!
Producers are now expected to meet with representatives of striking actors as soon as next week, and the pair of contracts could shape entertainment labor disputes for years to come.
This has always felt much bigger than us.
What are your thoughts moving forward?
Anytime you get to the point in which you have to strike, you're doing it for necessary reasons. We have been living in a world that's become increasingly exploitative of workers, and we are going to continue to fight for each other.
Now, it will still take some time for Hollywood to get back up to speed. When it comes to new theatrical releases, moviegoers should expect a lull at the box office at the start of 2024 that could run into early spring. Tony?
All right, Elise, got it. Thank you very much.
To Washington now, where the government shutdown deadline is coming fast. House Republicans holding up a deal to keep the government open as the Senate eyes a stopgap solution. Senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott is tracking it all on Capitol Hill. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning. 4 days until a government shutdown, and there is still no clear path forward. Caught in the middle of all this political infighting, millions of government workers and contractors now bracing to go without pay. This morning, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy ramping up the pressure on a handful of far-right Republicans to make a deal to avert a government shutdown.
There's always a handful of people who can stop anything. I don't quite understand that argument.
McCarthy can only afford to lose 4 Republican votes, and so far several have rejected his latest proposal to keep the government funded while beefing up border security.
This is a rare opportunity for us to stand together, for us to hold the line.
If Congress does not act, 4 million federal workers could lose pay.
Can you assure them that this will be averted?
Look, I'm working everything we can to make sure this doesn't happen.
Half of those workers are in the military. Families like Andy Coakley's in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, motherfucking government shutdown, baby. Lawmakers return to Capitol Hill as clock ticks down until the shutdown. I've never seen the Cummers go this hard. Dude, they are out of control today. The Cummers are excited. They are elated because they see Brandon fight for labor and they think, you know, we got to fight extra hard as coming in the chat. How often do I think about the Roman Empire? I never think about the Roman Empire. You want to know why? Because I'm always thinking about the Ottoman Empire and how the Ottoman Empire technically is the reason why the Roman Empire ended, even though they separated the Byzantine Empire as a separate Roman Empire, even though the Ottomans were the ones who actually put the final nail in the coffin of the Roman Empire. You know what I'm saying? 1453, best year of my life. Okay.
The Coast Guard veteran and her active duty husband left scrambling.
It's infuriating that this can't be resolved in a way in which the military families aren't held hostage. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
And while government employees could get back pay, contractors would not, including cafeteria staffers like Willie Joe Price.
Do you worry that you won't be able to pay your bills by the end of the month if Congress doesn't act?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I worry about that. A whole lot. I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying not to cry.
Price has worked at the Library of Congress cafeteria for decades, faced with yet another shutdown.
I've been up on this hill for 42 years. I've been there.
It's wild that, like, people who are paid $174,000 a year plus get to also enjoy, the stock market trading with insider information that is basically fucking legal, even though it's supposed to be illegal, can just be so careless with the lives of hundreds of thousands of workers in the United States of America. Now, here's the thing that's really interesting about this. The government shutdown is bullshit.
Damn, this guy's good.